When some loud bragger tries to put me down and says this school is great, I tell him right away, now what's the matter, buddy? Ain't you heard of my school? It's number 1 in the state.
Hey, hey, take it away. Get
So
that ball
be
and
true
fight.
to your school. Just like you with your girl. Be true to your school. Let your colors fly. Be true to your school. I got a Letterman sweater with a letter in front. I got for football and track. I'm proud to wear it now when I cruise around.
That song we just heard, Be True to Your School, it was in October 1963, the first time I heard that song. I was in junior high school. And I love it because in the background, the voices that you hear are these ladies sitting next to me, the Honeys. This is Marylin and Ginger. They're cousins, they're related. I'm not related to them and I didn't sing on the record. But I love them and I love the song.
Hey, hey, take it away. Get that ball and fight. And then the last one was push him back, way back.
60 years ago. 60 years ago they did that and they did it for us.
Unbelievable, 60 years.
Yeah,
Yes.
it went pretty quickly, ladies, but we had a lot of great memories, a lot of great history went by, and American history and rock and roll history, they overlap. They're all intertwined, and you were part of that. And that's why I came out to visit these ladies, because they were part of my growing up, and so many of my friends, so many of my school friends, these are the things we talked about in school as we were getting older. But how did it begin for you? How did it start?
We had a very musical family.
Who in your family?
My father was a piano player and a singer, and my mother was a blues singer, and all we knew was singing. I mean, we did the tail end of vaudeville.
How many brothers and sisters did you have?
I have one sister, and
One
she
sister.
was a blues singer as well, my sister Marlene. And
My mother was a concert pianist.
Oh, wow.
My father was a great listener. And we started singing. My mother loved to play the piano and she made harmonies. And I had 2 sisters, I'm the middle one, and we're all 2 years apart. And my mother was...
Who's the oldest, Diane?
Diane. It was Barbara, Marilyn, and Diane. And so my mother would make up harmonies and we would sing like the McGuire Sisters songs.
Oh, wow.
And that
Sugar in the
era
Morning.
there, yeah, in that era, and that's how we learned harmonies. You know, my mother taught us that from those songs, and we started doing that, and then we did we went to a talent show.
when we came out to California.
Yeah,
When did you come
I
out?
came out in, I think, 52.
I was
Yeah.
1955
Yeah.
when we moved out here.
That's right, because I'm 3 years older than Marilyn,
Yeah.
so
Did
that's...
she know that?
Yeah, she
Yeah,
knows
she
that.
does.
Yeah. And we both started doing these talent shows.
Uh-huh.
I was by myself, and the girls were the Rovell sisters.
Yeah, we were the Rovell sisters, and we won the big prize. We won
And
the
I
big
didn't.
prize.
In Chicago or in LA?
In LA.
It was called Rocket to Stardom.
Yeah.
That was the name of the show.
Yeah.
I've never found footage on it or anything
I
like
don't
that.
think
Really?
I think they probably only had like kinescope or maybe
Yeah, something like that.
they just had, just the raw kind of footage where
Yeah.
they can't duplicate it, or people probably weren't interested and it's got lost somewhere. And then we also did the Yackel
Oldsmobile commercials.
Oldsmobile show, and they won again, and I came in second. So, it's like,
Well,
we
three
knew the
little-
handwriting was on the wall.
Well, 3 little girls,
Yeah,
it was,
yeah.
it was
They were
kind of
little.
cute.
We were
It was
little.
cute. The Rovell sisters for Rocket to Stardom, we got the trophy. My sister Barbara, I think, so I was 7, Diane was 11, 9, and 7. And that's what, see, we were already singing. My mother played the piano 17.
Did you go to the same school together?
No.
No.
Where were you going to school?
I went to Melrose Elementary, and then I went to Bancroft Junior High, Fairfax High, and Ginger,
And
went
you
to
went to
Hamilton.
Hollywood Professional
Then I
School
went
too,
to,
Brian.
once
Brian-
I was with Brian, he took me out of that school. Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. The Beach Boys had just had a couple of hit records, right?
Right.
They were on Candix Records at the very
Yeah.
beginning.
They were at the beginning, but we actually met them. I was on a small record label, Titan Records, by myself,
Did you have any releases?
We did. We had a release called Dry Tears, and it was a dry record. It was Dry Tears, but the gentlemen, they had, you know, the female artist on the small label, and the male artist was Gary Usher. And Gary Usher lived across the street from, his uncle lived across the street from the Beach Boys. They were the Pendletons then, but the Beach Boys. And Gary said, I want to take you to see this group. I think you're going to like them because they're kind of like you are, you know, with your cousins and stuff.
Well, because we had been
Right.
fooling around singing together for a
Yeah.
couple years already.
So are there 4 of you in the group at this point?
No.
Just the three.
Just three of us. Bobby was too. She was
too young.
Too young to move on to more of a professional. But we met some neighbors, good friend Elaine, and we were background singers for her. And then Phil Spector lives down the street, and Marshall Lee lives down the street. You know,
this neighborhood
it's-
around Fairfax.
Yeah, I met Brian. Loved the group. They were getting $5 a night then. Big.
Where did you see them?
At Pandora's Box in West Hollywood,
When
California.
they were at Pandora's Box, they were only getting paid $5 a night there?
Yeah.
Wow, was this amateur?
We didn't even sing that.
No,
never
no,
sang
no.
that.
We never sang there.
No, the
This
Beach
was.
Boys.
So that's where you met?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where I met them, and then I said to Brian, I'm coming back tomorrow. I'm bringing my cousins with us because you got Mike, your cousin, and the 3 brothers. I'm the cousin, and my 2 cousins.
Sisters.
And so the same kind of combination. And he said, I'd love that. So we come back the next night. Brian, you know, so nervous meeting Marilyn, he spills hot chocolate all over her.
Boy,
You know,
oh boy.
I don't know if it was kind of like that. I mean, I was 14.
But he was,
But we were in the front row sitting there.
and
you
he
know.
got nervous just meeting people, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
And he just spilled it all over her, which is very famous in any of the Beach Boy history books and things like that. He loved the idea of the group. The Beach Boys were on Capitol Records. They had Surfin Safari out, and Brian Wilson, thought that he was in a position where he could bring artists over to Capitol Records, and maybe the Capitol Records would be interested. Well, Murray got involved in it too. Murray Wilson, who was Brian's father, he got involved in it as well. Actually made a deal with Capitol Records. I don't remember all the details, but
I don't think Murray had anything to do
yeah,
with us signing.
Murray was, he and Brian came over and talked about the honeys. I don't know that Brian did it on his own, maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think that Brian just loved it. He loved listening to us sing, and he started giving us parts and singing songs.
Yeah.
And we would go to Brian's house. He was sharing an apartment with his very good friend Bob Nordberg.
From Rob and Sherry.
From Bob and Sherry, yeah, which Brian created too.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But and then we would just go over there
That's
and
true.
We would sing songs all night, you know, Brian.
Did you have the name Honeys? Where did the name
No.
Honeys come from?
The honeys are the girlfriends of the surfers.
Well, in the song it said, early in the morning we'll be starting out, some honeys will be coming along.
Okay.
On Surfin Safari, so we
Yeah.
said,
We
great.
said, oh, we'll be the honeys.
Yeah, we'll be the honeys.
Even though we can't surf, oh well.
Yeah,
We don't
yeah.
have, but we can sing.
And
Yeah,
we
and
can
that's
sing
what
it.
we're here for.
Brian loved it.
Yeah.
So he decided, he called us up and he says, I've got just the song for you. He adapted Swanee River,
Yeah, Swanee River.
and he made it into Surfing Down the Swanee River, and he thought, what fun we'd have. We just thought that was fun. We were these 3 kids, and anything that was musically inclined, we loved. I mean, and Brian, we just felt this kinship toward him. You know, that we knew that if he had something for us, it was in our best interest.
Right, oh, he was
so
so good.
we didn't second guess him. He put that on, he said, what can we do for a cover, for backside, a flip side? And I said, well, Diane and I kind of wrote the song Shoot the Curl, and we're not finished with it yet. And Marilyn said, oh yeah, that's a great song to do.
Shoot the curl for surfing. It's a surfing
Yeah.
term.
It's a surfing term, Shoot the Curl.
Yeah.
And we're gonna shoot the curl. We're gonna,
Well, we're going surfing in about an hour.
yeah, we're gonna,
Got the boards ready and
yes,
Woody and
exactly.
Okay. So,
But Ginger,
Yeah.
I want to interrupt you.
No, please.
Before we met Brian, we were actually, Ginger and Diane and I was 14.
Diane was 16, I was
17. We actually already started singing backgrounds for some of these people in the neighborhood who had songs out.
Right, that's
You
right.
know.
Yeah, I said that. Yes.
No, you didn't.
With
You didn't
Elaine
say
and-
about.
Elaine,
don't argue
Yeah.
with my friend,
yeah,
okay?
yeah. No, that's fine. You can elaborate on it, yeah.
We started doing
Love
backgrounds
to be
for
so
some
wonderful
people.
was the name of the song.
Yeah, but and then we do something for Marshall Leave.
Yep, we did stuff, we did some
the
demos, we started doing
Safaris.
the demos.
The Safaris.
Safaris was Marv Rosenberg, we did some demos for him.
Yeah, that's what it was. We did some
Yeah,
demos.
we did demos for him and Richard Klasky from the
Yeah.
group The Safaris. Famous
Safaris,
record.
Image of a Girl.
Right.
The
Safaris was Wipeout, right, and we worked with them too.
Oh boy, we sang a great.
We did an album with the Safaris.
Yeah.
Safaris.
Oh, we had a really fun album.
Yeah.
Gonna take a trip to the islands.
Yes, we did
Oh
that.
my.
They
Well,
also
and-
did Be True to Your School. They did it, their way on the album, and Gonna Take a Trip to the Islands, yeah.
But as time went on, I mean, there's so much in between, but as time went on, we kind of got known, in our circle, music circle, whatever, surfing era, whatever, and our sound as the Honeys
Yeah.
was, people liked it because it was young and it was girls and sweet and,
Sweet
And it was enthusiastic.
Yes.
You brought some energy to every song.
Yeah.
And we're talking Dead Man's Curve. Everything you, the little old lady from Pasadena, everything you girls backed up, boom.
We backed up New Girl in School for
Yeah.
Jan and Dee.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. We had fun and, still love that song. It's still fun to sing it.
And then we were asked to do, through the years, many demos. Demos are when, a writer writes a song and he wants it on, he wants to record it with somebody and then they present it to a bigger artist.
Any demos
Right.
that we would be familiar with that you recorded for some?
Oh,
any-
gosh. Well, we did a demo called I Love You Much Too Much for the Shangri-Las.
Yeah.
And that was,
I can remember that
I
one.
know, isn't that funny?
There were,
And that was Tommy Boyce and Bobby Hart.
yeah, we
voiced
did
that.
demos for them.
And then we actually recorded with them.
Yeah. And we recorded with Nick Vinay for some of the demos for his people on
For his
Capitol
artists.
Records. You talk about In the Still of the Night and all that?
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In the Still of the
In the Still
Night
of the
and
Night.
Make the Night a Little Longer.
Yeah.
That was a two-sided record that we did for Nick. After Surfing Down the Swanee and Shoot the Curl, we had 6 other singles
With Brian.
with Brian on Capitol Records.
And Brian
You
always.
did Romeo and Juliet.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, did a lot of stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Marilyn did that with Diane and Bobby. Bobby
Yeah.
actually came on and did that as American Spring.
Yeah. But Brian and I got married in December 1964, and just by being in the house with him, and he'd be at the piano all day long, every day, he would go, "Mira, come on over here, sing a part. Sing. I want to hear this. Sing this part. Sing that part." And then he kept coming up with songs he wanted to hear us do here in the studio.
Right.
So that was like a Romeo and Juliet and things like that.
Yeah, we did the
songs
one you
like
can't
that.
have. He asked us. He says, "Okay, who are your boyfriends? Name some of your boyfriends or people you like." I'm naming Gary, in for the song, and then we thought, oh, we're in the studio. There's Larry Levine, who is our engineer, and Brian's engineer at Gold Star Records. We'll put Larry in there, and Jimmy, and who else did we put in? We just named a bunch of people, and all of a sudden he came up with the song, "The One You Can't Have Is the One That You Want the Most," and it really was one of the most well produced songs that Brian did. I mean, he really got a chance to
And
produce
that was a
with
Gold Star
big
track,
sound.
wasn't it? I think it
Yeah,
was a Gold Star track.
he decided from just a smaller sound. He had a great big sound where he had the Wrecking Crew on all these
I was gonna
records of
ask you.
ours. The Wrecking Crew,
At
Hal
Gold Star?
Blaine, at
Gold-
Capitol
Gold.
first and then at Gold Star. Yeah. He
And
like-
then probably at Western and United.
Western, United, and then Western and United, and we did at United, we did Tonight You Belong to Me.
I am 16 years old, honey's Capitol Records photo session. Look at Ginger, isn't she adorable?
I think I was 19, I don't know.
If I'm 16, then you're 19.
And Dee Dee was 18.
Yeah.
And this is a Capitol Records photo session for our Good Night, My Love, and Tonight You Belong to Me. That was the 1968-69 session, recording session for Capitol. You Belong to Me, and
That was Al Caps.
Good Night, My Love.
With Al Caps. Brian
With Al
had
Caps, yeah.
arranged that, yeah.
Yeah, with Al Caps, and
Can't believe I can remember all that.
I know you're remembering.
But you know, when you relax your mind and you go through this, all these memories come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all there.
Yeah, and then we
Well-
had Hide Go Seek and From Jimmy with Tears.
You know, the Honeys,
He's a doll.
to tell you the
He's
truth.
a doll on
the-
Warner Brothers.
If I say so myself, the Honeys got robbed.
Yeah,
Wait a
that's the
minute, a
truth.
robbery with the...
It was true, it's really true. And,
What do you mean?
And most people who know our music and everything, they all say the same thing. Capitol never promoted us and gave us the justice that our songs deserved.
We had a song called Pray for Surf that we wrote.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
We wrote Pray for Surf, and they played it in the, they did a test market in the South, and they took it off the radio because they said it was sacrilegious.
And then they wouldn't.
You know
go
what
on
kind of
our
music they're playing now? You know, that you can hardly, you know, even the lyric. This is just Pray for Surf, because that's a surfing term.
Let's pray
For
for
the,
surf.
for the surfers, you know, they're praying for surf and waves and stuff.
Yeah. One of the things that attracted Brian Wilson to the Honeys was that we were girls. He grew up with brothers.
Yeah.
All his music was related to brothers, you know,
Boy
to
bands.
men,
Boy
boy
bands.
bands and all that. So he was fascinated
Cars
with the
and
three
all
of us and our voices.
Right.
And, you know, and that's why he wanted to work with us and, you know, produce us and hopefully make a hit.
And sang on almost every record we did. He was the fourth honey.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
he
He,
loved
loved,
singing with
he
us.
just loved to sing any part. Didn't have to be falsetto. He just loved
Yeah.
singing any part.
Yeah.
Just any part. He just
So there were really 4 honeys.
Yeah.
yeah, there were 4 honeys.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were 4 honeys.
Oh.
Pray for Surf was the second single that came out from Capitol Records. And
Now where do you record it? In the basement or you?
yes, in the basement, in the big studio.
Yeah.
Pray for Surf was very unusual in its production because Brian, you know, loves sound, and considering he's deaf in one ear, he likes big sound, big sound. He had 2 of the most incredible drummers play simultaneously on this album, Pray for Surf.
Who were the drummers?
Earl Palmer
Oh, yeah.
and Hal Blaine.
Hal Blaine did both.
And when you watch them, we were in the studio like in awe when they were putting the track down. Dun, 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 dun,
And
dun.
they do it at the same time.
At the
Equal, it was
same
great.
time, it was unbelievable. But Capitol took our record and sampled it in the South. Well, the evangelistic people, you know, they had some questions about the word pray, and they asked that that song be removed from the airplay. So that was a real.
There goes half your market.
Well, that was a kick in the teeth for
Those
us.
bastards.
Yeah.
Hey, the evangelists are going to hear about this now too.
Sorry.
Give them the address.
You guys-
What's the address? So they can come over and march and.
Sorry, you're so entitled to your opinions about it, and I know if the song came out today, there would be no question
right.
about it.
I'm thinking the same thing.
But then it was in the 60s, and maybe it offended some people, Pray for Surf, but we never even thought about it because it's a surfing term. Pray for Surf is,
Right.
they have
Well,
people, you know, on T-shirts and stuff. They have, you know, people like this. It's a term.
you know, it actually, when you think about it, it really doesn't make sense that they would do something like that. Because you had songs out like the Shirelles, Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow?
Yeah, after, you know,
After you have sex the night before. I mean, why did something like that go on?
because of the word, just the word
Oh,
pray.
the word pray.
Well,
Yeah.
they were
Okay.
a little bit extreme. You got to remember, the Little Rock High School, what they were doing to black kids who wanted to go to school. You look back now, John Lewis marching across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. It seems
Yes.
inhumane that kind of behavior existed in our country, and it wasn't that long ago.
Right.
So
No.
you're telling me you wonder how you could be pressured to get that record off the airwaves? Well, back then things were a lot
Oh,
different.
a lot different, a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
different.
Oh, yeah, it was very
as
different.
I say, when you listen to rap today, and you hear all the jargon that goes on in those
please.
records, and the F word and the
I
this
pull up
one
at a
and
red
all that
light,
stuff.
okay, and this guy's got his window down, and I might be listening to either a baseball game or some music or whatever I want to listen to in my car, in privacy and solitude of my own vehicle, and then I hear this guy this and that and this and that. Come
Yeah.
on, I mean, I don't really
It's
have...
kind of sad that our
Yeah.
records got shadowed because,
Yeah.
you know, Capitol, and then the Beatles explosion took place.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were all backseat. Even the Beach Boys took a backseat in some ways
yeah, to the
from
Beatles,
Capitol. They
yeah.
wanted to focus everything on the Beatles. And we subsequently left Capitol, and Brian took us over to Warner Brothers. And that's where
Did we do He's a Doll?
He's a Doll was reborn. Was born, I should say.
Yeah.
And then we wrote the B-side, which is a flip side, people don't know. The
Yeah.
45, it's usually the side that you don't want to compete with the quote A side, which
But
is the
Eddie Cochran, Summertime Blues,
yeah.
was a B-side, okay? So, I mean, we...
Don't Worry Baby was a B-side.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Don't Worry Baby was a B-side.
Yeah.
So we wrote the B-side, and that got a lot of airplay. But
We like I say, I just
Warner
think-
Brothers didn't put a lot of money into it
I don't
again.
know what it was. It
I
was.
think they just wanted to sign as many people as they could. and-
Or they also wanted to satisfy Brian.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
Well,
keep
it was
Brian
always
happy.
chasing the dollar sign, okay?
Yeah.
And if it meant keeping Brian happy, to chase the dollar sign, we'll put these girls in the back.
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah.
So,
No, and that's it. But you know,
And it broke Brian's heart. It really broke
it
his
did.
heart.
It really
He wanted
did break
us
his
to
heart.
have a hit.
He just felt like a failure that
Yeah.
he couldn't get a hit for us. He wanted a hit for us for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, it just broke his heart. You're right, Mira.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, absolutely. And after that one, we went back to Mayor and Brian's house, and we did some things like country air. I mean, we fiddled with it on the piano, and we'd go in and do a couple of demos of things that we wanted, but nothing else came out.
you play the piano?
No.
Your mother, concert pianist,
My mother.
pianist, excuse me, and you don't play. How about you?
She used
Oh, I
to play.
played for Elise.
Yes, you played, and I just accompany myself. I play chords on the
Yeah.
piano. Well, you know, Brian essentially plays chords on the piano, and he couldn't read music, and I don't read music. So it's like we hear it by sound. Now her daughters, you know, I mean,
You have
especially
daughters?
Carnie,
Carnie and Wendy Wilson. And
From
Carnie-
Wilson
Carnie's
Phillips,
in,
the famed Wilson Phillips.
They're both in Wilson Phillips.
I know this pain. Why do you lock yourself up in these chains? No one can change your life except for you. Don't ever let anyone step all over you. Just open your heart and your mind. Is it really fair to feel this way inside? Oh, you can sustain. Or are you comfortable with the pain? You got no one to blame for your unhappiness. No, baby. You got yourself into a mess. Let your worries pass you by. Baby, don't you think it's worth your time to change your mind? No, no. Someday somebody's gonna make you wanna turn around and say goodbye. Until then, baby, are you gonna let them hold you down and make you cry? Don't you know, things will change, things will go your way if you hold on for one more day. If you hold on for one more day, things will go your way. Hold on for one more day.
Carnie and Wendy. Yeah.
They had some big hits.
Very proud of that.
Oh, yeah.
Very
huge
proud of
hits.
that.
And Carnie plays the piano. She
Yeah.
plays.
Did she play well? I mean, she's an accomplished pianist.
No, not at all. Just chords.
Chords.
Yeah, none of
Okay,
us,
yeah.
none of us
None
are
of us,
accomplished.
no.
Yeah.
The only thing we're accomplished at is our singing.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can sing, and we still can sing. We just finished doing a July 3rd, which was last Monday. We did a big charity concert in
Agora.
Agora Hills by a place called the Canyon Club, which is pretty well known. There's about 7 of them now, and they wanted to do a theme of Neil Young and the Young Rascals, or the Rascals, whatever you want to call them. So we did Groovin', and then we came out with Carnie and her daughter Lola, who's a beautiful singer. So
My
it keeps
granddaughter
going.
Lola.
The granddaughter
Oh, is she?
generations.
Lola is 18.
18 years
And we
old.
sang Old Man
Yeah.
with them, and it
Now,
was
did she
beautiful.
graduate from high school yet?
Yeah, she graduated
From Notre
in June
Dame.
From Notre Dame.
Is she pursuing singing?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
she's going to
absolutely.
That's what she wants to do. She did a couple of shows with.
I passed along the way.
Well, I got down on
I got
my
down on my
knees,
knees
and I pretend to pray.
and I pretend to pray. California dreaming on such a winter's day.
And they had her come on stage for 2 or 3 times or whatever songs. And Lola got off the stage and she looked at Carnie and she goes, "Mom, this is what I want to do for the rest
It's
of
in
my
her
life."
blood. It's in her
It's
blood.
in the blood.
Yeah.
So anyway, so now Carnie and Wendy are going out with Lola and Al Jardine of the Beach Boys, and they're doing some shows now. It's called Al Jardine Family and Friends. Carnie and Wendy Wilson, their son Matthew. And Lola will be singing with them too.
Now,
Yeah.
do you have plans of joining your daughters and granddaughters in singing at any time?
Well,
No, we just did that.
We do
that song.
every once in a while, like 2 years ago we did, maybe it was 2 or 3 years ago, we did a charity show, and with Carnie and Wendy and Mary and I, and we did a tribute to Dusty Springfield.
I don't know what it is that makes me love you so. I only know I never want to let you go. 'Cause you started something you see, and ever since I met you, wanna hold on to you. If that is to be true, I only wanna be with you. It doesn't matter where you go or what you do. I always let you control it every day with you. You want something just like this, and
there's so much to remember, it's really hard to remember. But for instance, like on Wilson Phillips, or I think it was Carnie and Wendy Wilson Christmas album, they asked the Honeys to sing a song, sing backgrounds on a couple songs.
We did Jingle Bells on one, and Lullaby, Carnie did her
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed
But I mean,
Reindeer.
you know, so we're asked through the years
Yeah.
to do things with our children, but
Now that we have a granddaughter in the mix,
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be special.
yeah.
It's so incredible, Lola's voice is,
Yeah, she's
and Lola's
good,
got, she has that mentality like Carnie.
Yeah.
You know, she likes it just right, and just like Carnie and Brian and Marylin, you know, they have that, we all have that same instinct.
Is Lola the only one, a child, or are there others?
Oh, no, Carnie has Lola, who's 18 now. She has Lucy, that's 14. And
Hard
then
to
Wendy has 4 boys. She has Leo, who will be 20, Bo, who will be 19. She has twins that'll be 16 next month.
Do we see any kind of involvement of?
Well, I don't
naturally?
know.
Leo might have,
Leo sings every day on the treadmill.
yeah,
He's real.
he may discover, it'll be a little later than Lola's been doing it, like, she's been singing,
Yeah.
you know, for so long, like the girls, you know.
Like at school plays and everything, she's
Yeah.
always in
Yeah,
all
always doing the same thing
I could
Carnie
just
did.
imagine 5 years from now, all these generations getting
I know.
together, it would be
Yeah.
really something to see.
Yeah,
so-
that's not wrong, you
Yeah.
know, that's something that I could see happening, you know, that we do a maybe 1 or 2 songs and we, you know, do it all together.
Right, right.
Because we did
as
with
long as they
Lola,
want,
yeah.
you know, the grandmas to come on and do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, as long as they invite me is what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're saying, okay, kids, invite me, I'll
Invite
be there.
us.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, but you
Yeah.
don't want to beg, yeah.
We love it, but
Well, like on Old Man, when Carnie, that we just did this show that Ginger talked about at the Canyon Club, and Carnie goes, she goes, Mom, I've got some great parts for you and Ginger to sing. You
Never
and
asked us, we never talked
asked
about
us.
it.
She said, you know, I want you to do this and I want you to do that. I mean, she knows our voices and wants to
Yeah,
use
she
them.
picked 'em
you know,
perfectly.
But
She
we're not
picked the
going on
parts.
stage with them. I mean, that's not.
Right.
I mean, on a tour.
Oh, yeah,
we're
but
not
you-
No.
on a
yeah.
tour with them, but.
once in a while it's so much
Yeah.
fun to be with
Yeah.
them.
Oh yeah, it's always
Yeah.
fun. Or if they
Yeah.
call us up on stage to sing something.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
it's always such an honor.
So much fun.
Well, let me take you back a little bit, and I want to ask you about backing up Jan and Dean. Where was that? Where is that?
That was
that
at,
Capitol? Was that a Capitol?
Girl
no,
in
that was at
school.
United.
Yeah, I think it was
United, I think United or Western. It wasn't the Capitol
I
though.
think it was United.
Yeah, with
I'm
Lou,
not sure.
Lou Adler was producing that.
Lou Adler.
Yeah.
Which means Shelley Fabre back then? Did you get to know
Yes, oh
Shelley?
yes, oh yeah,
Shelley.
adorable.
God, I just loved her. Johnny
Sweet.
Angel, one of the best rock and roll songs ever.
Yeah.
And not only that, but she is a beautiful, beautiful human being. Shelley, I love her. I just love her.
Yeah, and we loved Lou. I mean,
Oh,
Lou.
Lou.
We met Lou way back when at Screen Gems when he was just getting Truesdale music together. I mean, it's also intermingled.
Yeah, I
I-
call it cross-pollination.
Yes, I love that.
Brian and I were married, and went to Lou Adler and Shelley Fabre's wedding. So that shows you how long ago
Yeah.
that was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I met him one time,
Yeah.
and he talked about that.
Lou?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lou did something very special for Marylin and Brian. You know,
When we got married and all
when we
that.
got married. Yes, that sounds good. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
So
we-
it was really nice, and we see him from time to time when we do shows. We did actually a tribute to.
Carl Wilson.
You didn't do it, did you?
Carl Wilson.
I think it was me, Diane, and myself at the Roxy for Jan Berry. Remember in memorial.
I didn't do it?
I
don't
think
know.
you were away.
Oh,
I
oh.
think you were away, but Diane and I did. We backed up Dean for New Girl in School. Yeah, I don't remember you being there, but then then Al Jardine sang, and we sang with him like probably Help Me Rhonda or something.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Well, Dean Torrance is a very good, still remains a
Yes.
very good friend of ours.
Oh yeah.
He's,
Yeah,
he's
we
a
love
great
Dean.
guy. Love Dean. Love Dean.
Ron tried to get in touch with him, but had an old email address. So I tried a new email address, to get in touch with him, to sit with him while I'm out here.
Yeah.
Do you know him? Could you put me in touch with
Dean?
him? Yeah, Dean.
Well, we would contact him and say, is it okay if
Yeah.
you give this guy your number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's the
That
way
would
to
be the
do
best
it.
thing that we can
Oh,
do.
yeah, I don't want you to.
Yeah, he doesn't, he's not like out in the public a lot,
No,
you know, he's not out in the public a lot, he does things, he'll do some shows as he likes to do.
right, right.
I have been in touch with, met a lot of people over the years, and I've been in touch with them later in their lives because my friend Jack Velour is the one that got me, said, you gotta be shooting these videos. And his father said, you've got so many interviews, but you gotta be recording all this stuff. So I started doing this back in '09.
Wow.
And over the years, as I've been doing it, these people I didn't know, I would contact somebody, I didn't know at the time they had cancer,
Oh, my.
and they would not want to have any involvement because they got 6 months to live. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I find that with as they get older, oh, I could name them too.
That's
Name
really
them.
tough, that's really
Horrible.
tough. Yeah.
So many, I didn't know that, and I'm figuring, boy, they were so nice to me before. Why are they ignoring me now? And then I see 4 months later they die of pancreatic cancer. It was so sad, and I could see why. They look different. They
Of
have a different
course.
attitude. They feel.
They
I'm going
want
to take all
their,
this
they want
out
their
of the video.
fans to remember
Yes,
them
and I
as
don't.
young and vibrant.
So if somebody like Dean, I can respect it. If
Oh,
he
no,
doesn't-
he's fine.
Well, I don't know that.
Yeah.
But if I can respect whatever if he doesn't want to get in touch with me, that's okay.
Right.
That's fine. Let me ask you a little bit about the piano, okay? The piano behind us.
Oh, yes, the piano,
Okay.
uh-huh.
All right, you bring it up.
Well-
Ask me if I've noticed the piano.
Well, have you noticed the piano in back of you?
There's that piano.
The old
No, I
black,
got it.
the black concert grand?
Wow.
That's the Pet Sounds piano.
The Pet Sounds piano.
That's the Pet Sounds, we call it the Pet Sounds piano.
Right.
That's the piano that
Tell us
Brian wrote
why.
a lot
Yeah.
of songs on, and especially Pet Sounds. And he also would have the piano taken to the studio because he loved the sound of the piano. I remember when we went to buy the piano. And
Oh, you were there when the piano was purchased?
yeah, I was with Brian. That's at Chickering. We went to that Able Music, I think it was Able.
Uh-huh,
Pianos.
Able, A-B-E-L.
And Brian loved it because he loved the bass notes on the piano the most. They were real strong, and he's really into the bass, you know, the sound of the bass. So anyway, when Brian and I got divorced, guess who got the piano? Me.
Did you demand the piano?
I didn't demand it. He gave me whatever I wanted.
Really?
Yeah. And so I said, this is going to be a piano that I will keep, and Carnie and Wendy will get
Yes.
after me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a family piano.
That's what, 12
Elton John wanted to buy it from Brian and I.
Are you serious?
When Elton first had like a couple hits, he came over to our house in Bel Air and he says, can I buy your piano? You know, and Brian goes, Marilyn, Elton wants to buy your piano. And I said, no.
The best song by Elton John, this often happens, is his first, Your Song.
Yeah.
Oh,
That song.
great song.
Great song.
Yeah.
Great song.
Now, his other music is good, but he did never approach the, I say, good music you listen to, great music you feel.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I can feel Your
Oh,
Song.
so fabulous.
I love it. But everything else he did, I didn't feel it the same way. Did he ever play on that piano, Your Song?
I don't remember that. I
Oh,
don't
wow.
remember that. But I'm sure he sat down and played
Oh
something.
yeah, okay, that's good enough for
I'm
me.
sure he did,
Yeah.
you know.
Very
And
good.
he was so sweet. He put, Carnie and Wendy were very little when Elton came over. And a lot of people came over our house. I can't even remember all the people.
Paul
who came over our
McCartney.
house.
Oh,
Paul
wait,
was there.
wait.
Yeah.
By heart, okay, don't do this to me. At my age, okay? Paul McCartney came over?
Oh,
Came
yeah.
over. Yeah,
They did a song together, actually.
Well, no, Paul and Linda would come over, you know, and their kids were all little like our kids. And when we gave our kids a birthday party, we invited Paul and their kids, and all the kids, that, you know, were there at the birthday party, you know.
The
I
big
know.
one. I
Not
feel
only
it.
that, Cher's, Chastity was there, Mike Love's children, or a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's my whole point? Oh, so my point is that Elton, Carnie was so, I don't know how old she was then, she must have been like around 4 or 5 or something like that. And Elton, she says, Elton, will you come and just, you know, put me to bed, you know, like just come up when I go to sleep and all that. So Elton went up and, you know, I don't know what he did, maybe sang to her a little bit or did something. It was very cute. And And then he couldn't come to her birthday party, so he sent her flowers. Anyway, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because Carnie just did a talk show recently, and Elton was on it. And Elton said, "Hey, you remember when I put you to,
Oh,
you know,
wow.
He
to sleep?"
remembered that.
And you know,
Yeah.
and it was very sweet.
Oh, it's got to be.
Anyway, Elton, you know,
Beautiful.
it's a funny story.
Did
with
Paul
Elton.
McCartney ever play that piano?
He must have.
Oh, he
must
had to have. I mean,
We also had an
We
upright.
I was gonna
We
say.
had an
I
upright.
think the upright in Bel Air, the
Yeah.
upright one.
I remember when he came over one day and he goes, "Listen to this new song I'm writing." It was on the upright. And it was,
stop. Were the kids born yet?
yeah. the kids were all
Okay, so
born.
then it was after 1968, 69. Would it have been Let It Be?
No,
That's the best.
Road, something with Road.
Oh, Red Ruby Road.
No.
Abbey Road?
Didn't he do
No.
Long Promise Road or whatever?
Oh, the Long and Winding Road.
Long and Winding Road.
He did that?
Yes.
He's playing it for you
He
on your...
said, he's listen to this, I'm just writing this, Long and Winding
So it was
Road.
1970, because Carney was 68 and
Yeah.
Wendy 69.
Yeah.
So 1970 was their last album. And,
Yeah.
okay, a little confession to you ladies. I'm going to England at the end of August, and I'm going to go to all these places we're talking about. I've been in touch with the original Quarrymen. You know who they are.
Yes, Jerry.
They introduced Paul to John on July 6, 1957, St. Peter's Church. I'm going there. Because that is, as I say, these guys changed the world. And when John Lennon said to us, "You say you want a revolution," and we said, "Yeah."
Oh, God.
Yeah, he wasn't kidding.
No, and he did, and he helped us with the Vietnam War, get out of
Yeah.
that garbage. And it's just too much history to ignore. I only saw them. I saw them on their second tour in '66. Best concert I've ever seen. I was 17 years old. Nothing compared to the vision of seeing those 4 young kids.
Well, you know what,
Take
my
that
husband's,
stage.
my husband, I've been married to Daniel Rutherford now for 23 years. And he saw the Beatles, he's from Canada, from Vancouver, Canada. And when he goes to people, he goes, "I got to see the Beatles." He goes, "It's the best concert I never heard,"
I never heard.
because of all the screaming.
Excuse me, how old is he? I'm 74.
Yeah,
How-
75. He'll be
He's
75 this year.
So did he go during the
He's still- yeah,
64 tour or the 66 tour?
Don't have a clue.
Okay.
I have no idea.
I think it was the 64 tour, which is the one that Paul just published the photographs from that tour. And in Cleveland in 66, they rushed the stage and they shut down the concert. The kids did for 55 minutes. And I made a video about that. It was amazing to watch that, and I was devastated to see these kids rushing, and they're going to hurt the Beatles. You can't do that.
No.
But they got it under control. They stopped touring because you couldn't
Yeah.
hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they laugh. He says once in a while you'd hear a little note here and there, but the screaming was so loud.
It was.
Yeah.
It was really something. But to be there witnessing history.
I know.
And I
He
always,
still has the ticket too.
I kept mine too. But mine's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh wow, you lent it to them?
No, I didn't. I get emotional about this now. I had a younger sister. She was 6 years younger than me. She passed away. She
Yeah,
went,
tough.
she went,
So
to,
tough.
she went to
Yeah.
the concert with me. She was 11 years old. I was 17. My buddy was 18. For the whole week, I argued with my mother, my old Italian mother. "You're not going down there. You're not taking the car down the stage." My father, 3 hours before the concert, says, "Let him go." I took her. She never stopped talking about that for the rest of her life. She died in '02 of cancer. She had cancer since she was 2.5 years old.
Oh, my goodness.
But I put the ticket in the Rock Hall in her name.
Oh, nice, nice, nice,
What
nice.
a
Yeah.
beautiful tribute that was.
Yeah, so we did that. But I will never forget that concert and the emotion from that. And I made a lot of friends in the concert. Dennis Edwards from the Temptations. Can't Get Next to You, Ball of
Yeah.
Confusion. He would dedicate songs to her from the stage.
Aw.
I mean, it was, and then they'd have her on the Jumbotron, you know, while Dennis was singing to her. Stuff like that. Charlie Thomas of the Drifters
Aw.
jumped off the stage, sang Under the Boardwalk on his knee to her in this huge arena. The concert, the spotlight on the two of them. She would talk about that for days. I mean, these are things, the great memories of growing up and all this music, what it meant to us. But yeah,
was.
it was tough. The Beatles meant so much to me. And I always say that the impact they had in this country was so much because President Kennedy was killed
63.
November 22nd, 63. 75 days later, these 4 kids land in this country. We never thought we'd smile again, never thought we'd laugh again, but they taught us we could
Rock
do
and
both.
roll.
Yeah.
And here we are, and they opened it up for everybody else. And I got a couple of interviews set up with people over in England, and I'm excited about that because this is where they came to rescue us.
Are you gonna go to the cavern?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
going back to when you said about Kennedy dying, we were set to do a show with the Beach Boys and the Four Speeds up in, I think, Sacramento area.
Santa Maria?
Santa Maria. Well, no, because the Sacramento one was the one that we just went up.
Okay.
Murray, you know, a lot has been said about Murray Wilson, but there's something to be said about Murray Wilson teaching his boys that if you commit to something, you don't let people down. So we all went to this concert that we were all supposed to perform
Was it that
at.
day?
It probably
Or the day after?
the next day or whatever. It had to be either that day or the day
I think
after.
it was the day before.
And maybe it was the day before, but.
Well, no, because
No, it had to be
it had
either
to
the
be
day
after,
he
yeah.
died.
Was a
or-
Friday.
Yeah, it had to be that day, maybe the day after, but here's the point. We went up there, stood on the stage, all of us stood on the stage and nobody played. We all stood there in spirit and in memory of John Kennedy. And that's the thing about Murray that people don't know about him.
Well, there's so much they don't
Did
know.
Did you
Yeah.
perform? Did you?
No.
Beautiful.
We
Because
did not perform.
Lenny Welch.
We just made the commitment to be there for the fans. And, you know, of course, the Beach Boys signed millions of things, and maybe we signed a few here and there.
Yeah.
You know, but still, it was a commitment. And I thought I'm just thinking about that, because I would never have thought about it if you didn't say John Kennedy.
Yeah.
See,
I
Lenny
forgot
Welch
about
told
that.
me the story about how he was getting ready to record Since I Fell For You
Ah,
in
my
the
favorite
studio.
song.
And then the news, you love that?
Oh.
Oh, and the news came in and he said, we shut down and went home. We couldn't
Wow.
do anything.
No.
And then he called my attention to the fact that from the end of November, Dale and Grace, I'm leaving it all up to you. That was the number one song. That was the number one song that week.
Mm-hmm.
After that, the number one song for the rest of the year was Dominica, okay?
Oh.
And that wasn't even rock and roll.
No, I
And
wasn't
the
a big
reason that
fan
was-
of that song, but
That's my point. It was number one for 5 weeks because no other records were being published, sold, no performances,
Oh,
no
I get what
concerts.
you're saying.
Yes, everything stopped and the singing nun had the floor to herself for the next
Wow.
5 weeks.
I guess that was spiritual because she was a singing nun.
Well, I never looked at
And
that.
he was Catholic.
But you know what? We look at
John
1963.
Kennedy.
1963, the first song of 63, first number one song was Telstar. Came from Great Britain, instrumental. Then in 1963, in July, number one song was Sukiyaki.
Oh,
Remember
yes.
that song?
Yes. Da 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 da. Da, 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 da,
We
da.
couldn't even understand the words,
No.
and we just got done dropping 2 atomic
Yep.
bombs 18 years earlier, but we're opening up music and
Right.
we're inviting, and then that's why when the Beatles came from the other side of that big...
The pond.
The pond. Oh, I love Petula. Oh, God, I'll tell you a story about Petula. And then the Beatles hit us with such an impact that we couldn't look back. We were ready to open
Yeah.
up again. And then they brought up Jerry and the Pacemakers
Right.
and everybody else. So, you know,
Well, it's quite interesting because the Beatles were so big here, but they weren't as big in England. They weren't as big there.
No.
And the
opened
Beach
for
Boys
Christmas.
Like
were
the Beach
bigger-
Boys.
The Beach Boys were bigger
There than they
England.
were in the United
That's-
States.
So Beatles
Oh, I
were
didn't know
here.
that.
Oh yeah.
the Beach Boys are
Oh,
bigger
Bigger
than,
in
than
Britain.
here?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. If you look it up, you'll see. And it's quite interesting. You know, it's like they switched
Yeah.
places for a while.
For a while. Yeah, but it was, that's what it
Oh, yeah.
was. It's kind of interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Well, it's all very interesting, which is
Yeah.
why I came up to California. Anything else you can think of that you want to add, that you want to put
Well,
in? And I'm going to understand, I'm going to
Yeah.
remove all the fluff in between.
Right.
But it'll flow well.
I did want to touch on one of our dearest friends of like 50 years, 45, 50 years is Stephen Kalinich. And Stephen he wrote a song with Brian for Brian and Paul McCartney to sing. What was it called? Friends? Something
know.
about Friends? Anyway, Stephen wrote with Brian a song called California Feeling. Brian wrote Brian sang his version of it, Al Jardine sang his version of it, Carl Wilson sang his version of it, and he finally asked the Honeys to do their version. And it was not, maybe 5 years ago, I think,
Yeah.
we did it.
There's singles out.
And
of it.
it's his
You
favorite.
recorded it 5 years ago?
Yeah.
About 5 years ago, yeah, we did the song, it's called California Feeling, it's on an album. Friends of, it's called, the name of the album is called California Feeling. And Stephen Kalinich and several of his friends who sing were on it as well, including Carnie and Wendy, and they actually did a EP. If you don't know what an EP is,
Yeah.
it's kind of an EP looks like a 45 record, but it had like 4 songs on it.
Extended play.
It's
That's what I
extended
was gonna
play.
say, extended
Yeah,
play.
extended play. So we did California Feeling, and Carnie and Wendy did Little Bird.
Yeah,
And the
Stevens.
song Little Bird that Stephen Kalinich wrote, he wrote that with Brian, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he wrote that with Brian. That was that EP single.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the last song we recorded. But I did want to touch on that.
Well, we recorded with Dennis Dykin from the Smithereens.
Oh, that's right. Gee, I forgot about that. See?
Yeah, I mean, we recorded with other people through the years, but
Yeah.
nothing was ever, you know.
Well, they
were just
had
kind
Fresh
of like,
Cut Flowers and one other on the Smithereens album, and we did a concert at Universal Studios with Dennis with the Smithereens.
Oh,
You
okay.
remember that?
No.
It was still open then. It
There's
was
so much to remember. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
you've had a
But
pretty
remember
expansive
that.
career.
We did, yeah, we did, and that, you know, I changed, when we weren't doing anything with the Honeys, I did background singing, vocal contracting and background singing, because I love to sing.
Yeah.
And, you know, I started singing with a group of black artists, and we did a lot of sessions. But my love is the Honeys. It'll always
yeah,
be there.
yeah.
The
But
first,
you also did the, in the disco era, you did
Oh, that's right.
Danielle.
thank you
Your
for
group was
telling me. See,
Danielle.
like, yeah.
Oh, that's right, three
disco-
ladies, yeah.
Yeah, that was 1983. 1983, it was on Casablanca Records, and we were called Danielle. Thanks
Yeah.
for mentioning that, Marilyn.
Well, and then on my side, I had the Rovell, you know, the Spring.
American Spring.
Yeah, when Ginger went to New York and did her thing, and we had American Spring, and Brian recorded, you know, a lot
And
of that.
Spring. You had 2.
Well, Spring was the original one. Spring,
Yeah.
we were on United Artists. It's actually, I have so many people who always come up to me and say, this is one of my favorite albums.
Yeah.
It's such a, you know, great.
Yeah.
Do you know the album by Spring?
I've seen
That's
it.
where Romeo and Juliet, it's on that
Yeah,
album.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
It is?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
God, I can't remember that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, what's
Marilyn
my
sings
point?
Superstar. Oh my God, I cry when I hear her sing it.
Well, I sang it actually better, but Steve Desper erased it and Carl almost fired him.
Oh.
We recorded, Diane did the board, we had a studio at her house in Bel Air, and that's where we recorded the Spring album. And at night, Diane and I went into the studio to sing the Superstar, and Diane actually was the engineer on it, and I had a great vocal on it. I don't know how.
It still
And
is
then-
great.
And the engineer came the next day, he's the Beach Boys engineer, Steve Desper, who, you know, Steve was a great guy, but he made a mistake on this one. And he erased the tape and said it wasn't recorded right. And Carl was so upset, he says, he says, I should fire him over doing that. You know,
Yeah.
Carl Wilson from the Beach Boys. you
Yeah.
know. Anyway, long story.
Right.
But anyway, so we had Spring, and then Diane and I went to Europe when the Beach Boys did the Holland album. The Beach Boys had the Holland album out, and we all moved, the Beach Boys and their families, we moved to Holland for 6 months. And
What year was that?
70,
Well, let's see, Rainey was born in 72, my son was born
I
in
was gonna say
72, and
around-
you were there.
yeah, I was gonna say somewhere in the
Yeah.
early 70s. And I got to sing a lot of backgrounds on the Beach Boy, that album, because it was late at, whenever they needed a voice, they'd call me in, thank God, you know, and it was fun. But anyway, and Diane and I promoted Spring when we went to Europe during that time, and they had a promotion man that came, and we had a single out called Mama Said, and it was, we
It's
heard it
a
on the radio
revival
many
of a-
times. Yeah,
of an
and
old
then,
song.
and we also, we went to Switzerland, and they took us on a tour, Diane and I, on a mini tour, and then all of a sudden, so we started to do a couple TV shows, and there was
Top of the
another
top,
group,
top of the pops,
something like that,
Top
yeah.
of the
Top of the Pops, yeah.
Yeah.
big show, yeah, they
And-
did.
And then they realized that there was already a group in Europe called Spring. So they changed our name in Europe to American Spring.
Right,
So anyway, that's the story of
American
of
Spring
another
and
group
Spring,
that I
which
was
is,
in.
which is an interesting, it's interesting to
Yeah.
talk about stuff like
Yeah.
that. And it couldn't have been further from me doing Copacabana. I was background singer at Copacabana for Barry Manilow. And,
Wait. On the record?
yeah,
You're on the record?
yeah. I
Say
was-
that again without my amazement. Tell me that again.
Barry Manilow. I was a vocal contractor and background singer for Copacabana.
Wow.
For Barry Manilow.
For Barry Manilow,
Wow.
and did about 3 of his specials, and did the Even Now album. You know, a lot of artists. I've done hundreds of artists
My favorite
in the business.
Barry Manilow song is Weekend.
New England
I wanted you to finish it.
by Randy Edelman. That's Jackie DeShannon's
His
husband.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I love that song.
I write the songs. It's pretty darn good. Bruce Johnson wrote that.
Yeah, got a
From the Beach
Grammy
Boys.
for it.
He did.
I like that song, and I like some of Barry's stuff, but the only great song is Weekend in New England.
Yeah,
That's-
it's interesting because the average person thinks that Barry wrote all of his
No.
songs.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
hits were not
He
songs
didn't
that
write
he wrote.
them.
He
No.
wrote very few
Right,
songs.
he wrote you probably know, the lyrics to the American Bandstand Boogie.
Right.
Okay, but the original American Bandstand song, the Bandstand Boogie, was
Right.
recorded January 29th, 1953 in New York City by Les and Larry Elgart, who were substitute teachers back in junior high
Oh
school.
my
these
goodness, what a
guys are-
great story.
Yeah, but I didn't know it at the time.
Oh.
Okay, so these guys are our substitute teachers in school, and it was decades later that I found out they did the original American. It was called.
Oh, yeah.
It was called the Bandstand Boogie, and they did it.
Wow.
And these guys were, sit down, you know, that kind of stuff. Well,
Yeah,
we were
yeah,
just
yeah.
kids, but still, they were our substitute teachers.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
I wish I had known that. And of course, they're long since passed, but
Yeah.
the history,
Yeah.
that
There's so
passed.
much.
There's so much, yeah. It's
Can't remember
It's
everything.
also
so
meaningful.
much
And it's
history.
got, I always say, what I'm doing now is reaching back and touching that history. The history that went past me so quickly, I didn't appreciate it the first time.
Yeah.
Now that I'm looking at it from this perspective, I know totally.
Well, you do, and when you're older, you do have one. It's so much, the scope is so much bigger when you're older. You get to appreciate everything. You're not mono-focused on one thing. I was just having lunch with a girlfriend of mine 2 days ago at a restaurant, and this girl has her dog next to her, and we start talking because my girlfriend is a pet sitter, and by the way, you know, before we leave, I didn't get your name. She says, my name is Amy, and she says, what's your name? I said, Ginger, and this is my girlfriend, Susan. She looks at me, she goes, are you a singer? And I said, yes, I'm a singer. Did you sing with a group, the Honeys? I went, this is a young girl.
Really?
I said, yes, like in disbelief. My uncle produced your record on Rhino Records, the Ecstasy album,
Yeah.
Lou Maxfield. Such a small world. I couldn't wait to call Marilyn
Yeah.
and tell her. I said, this is beyond.
You never know who you're talking to.
That's right.
Okay, you gotta respect
That's so
everybody.
true.
Because
Yeah.
you never know who you're talking to. That's really amazing, but it's gotta be so satisfying to you.
It is. And Lou, you know, he and a guy named Mark,
Avnet.
Avnet, thank you. They did a great job on it.
They
Great
did.
job.
It was. I like that album.
I love that
I
album,
listened
the
to it,
Ecstasy
and I
album.
thought it was a great
I don't
album.
think, it has Go Away Boy on it, that we finished the lyrics that Brian Wilson
Well, I'll tell you what, I
wrote.
listened to all those songs in the last week or two.
Oh.
So, the album I didn't capture, but I listened to every one of your releases.
Wow,
Oh, yeah,
wow.
well, you have to. You have to understand your voices, and understand
Yeah.
who you are. So
Yeah.
I go through all of those.
I'm the rocker, she's
Yeah.
the sweet one. She's got the sweet voice and
I'll
I'm the
go
rocker.
on Ecstasy. I sang
Yeah.
Dennis's song.
Yeah.
That was a rocker.
That was, yeah. It was a good, you did a couple of good ones. I mean, as far as the more rocky
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
But I love when she sings Sweet. When she sang Go Away Boy, Brian heard it and cried.
My daughter Carnie said to her dad, Brian, he said, she said, Dad, who's your favorite, girl singer? And he goes, your mother. He says, your mother's my favorite girl singer. And Carnie said, well, Dad, what about like Barbra Streisand? And Brian goes, oh, Carnie, your mother's better than Barbra Streisand.
And this is recently.
Really?
5 years ago or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, really?
But I mean, what a...
Not when she was
The
3 years old.
point is, I could never even touch a hair on Barbra Streisand's voice.
But to Brian,
But to him,
Yeah, yeah.
he
loved
loved
her
our
voice.
sound.
Yeah.
Or more importantly, to say
He
that to
loved-
his
Yeah.
daughter about your mother.
Yeah,
That's what-
yeah.
Yeah.
He just loved our voices and our sound.
Mm-hmm.
That was more important to him than,
Right.
the
And that accolade
accomplished
is more
singers.
important to us than most things.
That's
To have
right.
Brian Wilson love Marilyn's voice.
Yeah.
And, and not have any competition as far as he's concerned. She's the voice.
She may not have the best voice, but she's my favorite. No, that's what he's saying, okay?
Yeah.
No, that's what he's
Yeah.
saying.
And that's,
Yeah,
that's,
absolutely.
that's important,
Yeah,
coming from him.
we know our limitations with our
yeah.
voices.
Yeah.
But he loved all the
we
honey's
know,
voices.
yeah.
He loved Diane's, he loved yours, Ginger.
Yeah.
He loved all our
He did.
voices.
He wrote songs for us. He wrote the rocker songs for me, the sweet songs for Marilyn. And that's what he did. He said, okay, you're gonna do Hide Go Seek. It's
Great
about as
record.
R&B as you can get.
Great
Brian
record.
loves R&B music.
Yeah.
Loved it. He said, I've had to do an R&B song. He said, you gotta sing that R&B song. And so, the raspy voice and singing it. And we're laughing in between takes because we're going, oh my God, doing that stuff. But, he did, this is so many songs. This could be hours of enjoyment listening to our enjoyment, reminiscing
Yeah.
to you
Yeah,
our musical career because it's such a lengthy one.
I'm thinking to myself, as you're talking, we drove past the house, but if I didn't know all this history was sitting here waiting for us inside, I'd go by here and, not really recognize that. Then we come in and we open up the camera and look at, we're going back 60-some years.
I
and
know.
We're talking about all of the great
And we're only
times.
touching
Right.
a small portion of what really went on. And
It really is
there's no
such,
way to
it really
do
is.
everything. It
Yeah.
could take days.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
would. Yeah.
But, I think
But we're not done yet.
No, but
We're still
I'm happy for you
Yeah, we're still singing
to
and
have that enjoyment. And that enjoyment is what keeps us, I don't want to use the word young, but it keeps us active. It
vibrant
keeps us
and
moving.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say for myself that I think the happiest that I ever have been, or whatever, my most enjoyable moments in my life were singing in the studio in front of that microphone.
Yeah.
Because you just let out yourself.
Yeah.
It's all you,
Absolutely.
And that's what made me, I think, that's the happiest,
Yeah. Me too.
besides-
Me too.
They say candy is sweet, but it just can't compete with you, baby. You've got everything I need, and nobody can please like you do, baby.
And who believes all my wildest dreams, my craziest schemes will come true. What is it to you?
You, baby,
Nobody
but you, baby, nobody but you.
What is it to you, baby?
Mama, baby, now, baby, nobody but you.
A little ray of sunshine, a little bit of sorrow.
And just a touch of magic, you got the greatest thing since rock and roll.
I
You
will say that knowing it's preserved for all time, that's got to give you satisfaction that's unparalleled. This is my mark on the world.
Right.
And when I'm gone, I really won't be dead. because
Right.
they will have my voice, they will have me.
Exactly, to listen to and
Right,
For
right.
years
Go
to
over
come,
them.
which is why
But
we're
it's
doing
just
this.
such a way of self-expression, you know, it's just,
it really is.
it just, you validate yourself, if you like what you're doing, you know, but
Yeah.
I remember just being, oh my God.
We love being in
You
the
go in
studio.
your own world,
Yeah.
you go in your own
Yeah.
It all comes from really back when you little girls were in Chicago. Really, and that was your launching pad, okay? Your mom and dad teaching you. They could have said, don't do that.
Right.
Go play with your dolls.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
don't do that. No, they didn't. They encouraged you. And
Oh, no, totally,
I mean,
gingers too.
When,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
when we think about how young actually we were starting in the music business, if our kid would have said, you know, well, I take that back because my son Rainey started when he was 14. He played at the Roxy. He did so much so young. The music was our life.
That gave you the
It was,
foundation.
it was our circle of being,
Right.
because that's when we were the happiest, when we were in the studio and just couldn't wait to hear what else.
Exactly.
The next thing Brian was going to write for us, or
Right.
or the next song we were going to record, and
Yeah. You know, this is my office here at home, and got a lot of Honeys memorabilia all over the place. But this is a picture of the Honeys singing with the Beach Boys at the Hollywood Bowl on Y Day, doing the cheerleading, which is what we did on the record,
for Be True to Your School.
for Be True to Your School.
So it was quite fun. It was a great day. We also sang with Dwayne Eddy that day. We had a lot of fun. Had a little mishap. Actually, there is a picture right across from here is with us, the Honeys and Dwayne Eddy. After we finished singing Be True to Your School with the Beach Boys, they went off stage, and Dwayne Eddy came back on stage. So we sang Guitar Man.
Listen to the guitar man.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
Guitar.
Da, da.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot the words.
Yeah.
Dwayne Eddy.
Dwayne Eddy.
Big surfing musician at the time.
Yeah, he was a great one. He was great. We did 2 songs with him because we had a #1 record in Sweden. He was a big fan, a Swedish guy and his friend. They had a small album, record label, and they wanted us to record some songs for them. Of course, we had songs that we had already recorded, and they were fine with that. The LP was pink. It's like heaven. That's
like
what it's
heaven.
called. It's like heaven. And so we had that out for.
This is my sister Barbara and Diane and I singing at a beach. We opened up for the Beach Boys in San Diego, and we were called American Spring there too. My sister Barbara, Diane, and I.
The culmination of our 45s that we recorded for Rhino and Capitol Records.
And more over there.
This
Spring and
is
everything.
Warner Brothers. This is a prize. This red label for He's a Doll is valued at a lot of money.
Yeah.
The last thing I saw, I think it was going for about $1,000 for this particular record. And then here's Good Night My Love and Rhino and When You Can't Have, Pray for Surfing Down the Swanee River. And some of them had songs that were equally as important on the backside. And this record label, Shoot the Girl Surfing Down the Swanee River, was
The cover.
was the color cover, and that's valued at a lot of money as well. And those are more of American
Those are
Spring,
Spring and American Spring over there.
more of American Spring and Spring.
The rest is all my daughters and
Yeah.
Beach Boys.
This one of the first things they say in the article is going to a Honey's interview is like going to a delicatessen because it's all about food. We love, food is the center of attention. We love it, and everybody that interviewed us, we thought they should have a little spread of
We
some
always do.
goodwill.
We actually, our record did go to #1, Surfing Down the Swanee in Denmark. But over here it's,
This one just the best sellers.
No, it's down here somewhere.
Fifth one, I think. Number
Right
5.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, number 5, Surfing Down the Swanee.
Yeah. We did a video for MTV from our single "Running Away from Love."